Hi, I'm Brad Knowles, producer of Friday Night Flies, hosted by Scott LeBoldus and Scotty Holmes. Enjoy the show.
Alright, Brad, handsome man,
Oh,
in your red.
good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Probably the first thing you'll notice this evening is that Santa Claus took his beard back for Christmas, and he left me with his hat. So, that being said, we'll start this off right. I'm going to wish everybody a Merry Christmas if we don't see you prior to Christmas, and a Happy New Year's. It's a pretty hectic time of year for the guiding company and the store itself, and getting everybody together. I mean, this is a time to be spent with family and friends and colleagues. Typically, leave them at home and spend the time with your family and friends. But tonight, I've got a pattern that we've been working over here lately in the Pacific Northwest, where we are located. We get an abundance of salmon that hit the rivers starting typically April, May, and they're still in there now. But we just finished a real big salmon run, which is this chum salmon, and they're breaking down pretty major, and the fish are feeding pretty heavy on flesh patterns. That and egg patterns, because as they spawn, they leave behind tasty little treats, and as they break down, they also leave bigger, tastier treats, which Scott and I are very aware of. This is a simple pattern to tie, yet it yields lots of trout. First and foremost, you want to find a river that you know there's been spawning salmon in. Second of all, you want to make sure that they're done their spawn and the sweet aroma of decomposing salmon is in the air. Correct, Scott?
That is right.
And that is a recipe for this fly right here. So we're not going to waste any more time talking about decomposing fish and flesh. We're going to get right to it right now. So I'm going to give this a quick slow roll. It doesn't really look like too much in the vise right here. It looks like a big, like a miniature feather duster.
Hey, yeah.
But once this fly gets wet,
Nipple tassel.
nipple tassel. When it gets wet, I just lick my fingers there briefly, and you'll see how it clumps together a bit more, and it looks real fleshy. A white oat layer with a little bit of a UV dubbing on the head, and to keep the body so that it doesn't collapse on itself too much, we put a crystal chenille in there in a small. I also like to use a medium. That also gives it just a little bit more meat. Okay, so.
And that color hit's good too, because when it's just flowing around, it's not being stripped like a streamer.
No.
Most time it's bouncing around, it'll flash through.
You got a little bit of meat in there. Mix it with your gravy and potatoes, and voila. And then this little bead on here also acts as an egg, right? So that is the anodized red. Tonight's recipe includes an FL orange bead, and these are 1/4 ounce. Okay, so let's get to it. It's a pretty quick tie. This guy's tied on a number 2 salmon hook, and I'm going to get the bead out of this little funky package. These are big beads, so you really don't need to weight them too much, but the thing with marabou is that it takes a bit of water to sink it. So you put that bead on there, slap her in the vise, and get busy with your 3/0 pink uni thread. And at that point, you just want to put a base on there so that the materials that you throw over top of the hook have got something to bind to. You don't need to get too crazy because most of this stuff is going to be covered anyhow. But you don't want it slipping and sliding. So, and it doesn't need to be pretty. If you guys haven't used Dr. Slick scissors yet, we highly recommend him. They are like razor blades, and they come in like I don't know how many different.
There's so many varieties.
Yeah,
This one's called
the razor.
Yeah. And those ones are probably my favorite ones.
Yeah, it's pretty standard. I think it's a 4-inch scissor, but
adjustable tension,
fully adjustable. They're awesome.
Fit your needs.
Okay, so we got that in there. Work our thread back to the back. And we're going to throw in some of this crystal chenille. Another great Superfly product. And if I'm not sure if anybody's checked in and wished us back some Merry Christmas, but this is the time to do it. Check us out live on YouTube right now. Right now there's a live chat going on. I know Zach, and we've actually got a new tire this week too, which we're pretty excited about. Dana Harrison, he resides all the way back from Nelson, British Columbia, in the Kootenays, and we're pretty excited to have him on the team too. So, hey, Dana, I know you're watching because it's your night to shine, brother. From Nelson, British Columbia, in the Kootenays. We're pretty happy to have you on the team, buddy. So, and to be honest with you, I only really want your bull trout fly pattern. So, quit messing around with all these copper johns and whatever else you're tying, and just get to the meat and potato and start tying those damn bull trout recipes that you're hoarding. Okay. Anyhow, back to my flesh fly here. Just using the rotary vise here, the Griffin Montana mongoose. And you want to work this guy up to about 7/8 of the way to the bead there. And then we're going to lock this guy down. So remember, all we're doing with this is just building a little bit of body to keep the fly from collapsing on itself. Plus, when it gets wet, it pops. It kind of throws down through it. And it looks real delicious like. So, next, when you're going through, I don't know if have you got a brush with you or a toothbrush or anything like that?
I do.
Okay, quick word of advice. When you're going through your marabou, your strung marabou, there's definitely different stalks in there. And the ones you're looking for are the nice, real thin, tapered stuff. I mean, if you go to the store, you'll pay 3 times as much for, I think it's called popsicle marabou or spay marabou. But if you just go through those little packages, you find the ones that are pretty soft on the feather stem. And then you take your brush and you're just going to run through it, okay? But down on something flat, just to get all that color and loosey-goosey stuff out of there. And you'll see how it just softens that feather right up. You see that, Scotty?
That's looking beautiful.
Super soft. And now what we're going to do is we're going to tie it in at the tip. But this stuff is really fragile. So what I found works best is if you take that tip and you fold it back on itself. Fold it back on itself. And then tie over the 2 tips into the thread here on the hook. And it just gives it a little bit more to bite on. And hopefully we don't break that sucker off, because it would break my heart, especially in live television here with the thousands watching. What's our count at? 6,000 right now? So anyhow, 6.2 thousand people watching live at home.
Don't screw up. Don't
screw up, Brad. Okay, so in close quarters here, we got this camera right up in my face, right up in the grill. So you don't want to get... And you want to just, at that point, just kind of pull it back a little bit. I'm working with cameras and everything in my face. 6.2 thousand people at home watching. We got no pressure on us. We're rotating. All we're doing is just spinning this marabou back onto itself here. I'll tell you, man, this pink marabou is something special, man. So once you get it in there, you don't want to go too crazy with it. Lock it down. Kind of looks like I pinned it, but I'm about to find out here what the magic of these Velcro strips is all about. Oh, did you see the save there, Scott?
Oh, I saw you do that.
Did you
I saw you do that.
Did you see how that works, ladies and gentlemen? The magic of a Velcro strip on a popsicle stick. I just can't believe that nobody's copyrighted or, you know, made that. That's like $1 million idea that was invented right here on FridayNightFlies.com. Saving people millions.
Yeah, you can buy the tool.
Do they actually make a tool? Oh, they
Yeah.
do, the dubbing brush. Is that what it's called, the dubbing brush?
Yeah, there's a couple. There's some that are round and then basically.
Why buy a dubbing brush when you can just
glued around
go?
the end of it. So I did one at home. I just glued the Velcro strip around the end of a pencil.
Did you really?
Same thing.
Oh man, you got creative. That's creative. That is creative thinking, Scotty. Okay, same thing. So we got that tied back a bit, locked down that marabou. Once again, magic. Popsicle stick with a chunk of Velcro.
Bingo,
Pull all that marabou out. Make sure it's all laying nice and pretty like. Whoa, you gotta watch out for that damn thread too. So you got all that. Whoa. Watch out for the damn thread. Okay, so we got the thread. Okay, at this point, we're gonna get crazy with the white marabou, and we're gonna lay it right on top of that. Same steps. We got a chunk of white marabou, and the same thing. You want to look for that thin, fleshy marabou, and then take your toothbrush on something flat, and you just want to rough out all the dye and everything that's in there. And you see the difference on that feather. Instantaneous. She's light and fluffy, supple and sexy.
Yeah, and that all gets packed down from the dyeing.
The dyeing process, yeah. I mean, I'm not even sure if they even wash the stuff before it goes.
There are some tyers out there, like some of the old school good guys. They go through all their packs and they wash all their marabou.
There's a reason for it, man.
Yeah. Well, the dyes
it makes
out, but they wash it to get rid of that pack down. And then I kind of...
Dude, I have my tongue sticking out again there. Okay, so once again, we go back to the hackle plier. And we're just going to simply wrap around it. We're wrapping around.
And you can make these as sparse or as packed as you like.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of it, really. I mean, I love tying hobo spays, and they're similar to this, right? Or even your typical, what is it, the white and pink spay fly is almost identical to this without the body and a couple different wraps on the body.
Yep.
Same thing. We're just going to hold that marabou back. And I mean, once you cut out all this dry humor, these patterns, they go pretty quick, don't they, Scott?
Yeah.
Real quick.
Oh,
It's not
a little slower. You're trying not to bump the camera in front of you.
Oh yeah, there's lots of stuff going on. And like I said, if you don't think there's pressure when it comes to tying in front of 6,200 people live on internet, I mean, it's a good thing they're not standing here, because like 6,200 people, that would fill the stadium, man. Especially in Pemberton, it would fill any of the stadiums in Pemberton, because there isn't any. But so there we go, locking that down. And you take your Velcro here. How's that looking on the camera there, Scott?
Really good, man.
It's looking fleshy, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'll just slap that around a couple times, make it pretty like. Pull it back. Give it a couple licks. That's the one thing when you're working with marabou. You want to pull it back a little bit sometimes. Uh-oh. Tie it back. Pull it back.
Save.
Yep, that was a save. Okay, and then to finish this pattern off, these dubbing boxes that Superfly makes are pretty damn awesome. So that's their dubbing box in diamond braid. I'm just going to pull a little bit of this pink diamond braid out.
Just got to get those boys down there to put a label on with the different colors.
Yeah, true enough. That does take a bit of time.
We're starting to get to know them, but
yeah, if you want to use pink, you just fire the pink on there.
You find the pink. When you run out of pink, you just go to the shelf, find some more pink.
Yeah, that's it, man. You just go find some more pink. Okay, so the diamond dub is real easy to use. And you know what? I like the pink diamond dub with this orange bead a little bit more than that fiery red anodized one. It kind of suits it a little bit better. Same thing. You don't need to go too crazy with it. All you're going to do is pull that out a little bit and slide it over top of the marabou and just kind of tie this fly all together and give it a little bit of pop. Little bang. I'm going to give it a second whip. right in behind that
A
bead.
little bit of diamond to go along with the dress.
Well, it just ties it together a little nice. I think it does. I mean, you don't need to, but I've tied them both ways, and I really like how it looks. So you take a little bit of that diamond dub, and you just pop it back over top of everything there, and it blends it together. And like they say in the movies, the old movies, bada bing, bada boom. And there you got it, ladies and gentlemen. A fish catching machine. Okay, so that is my version of the bead-headed flesh fly. And if you look inside there, that body will poke every once in a while so that you can see it. How's that for a thumbnail? Can you see it?
I can see it.
Okay, we're gonna get a quick thumbnail.
Bingo. Here, turn it the other side. Check it out. You want a better thumbnail.
Oh, I just spread it so that you'd see the body. That's all it is here.
That in your thumbnail?
Well, not really. I don't really care. It
Right
is
there. Oh, yeah.
right there.
That's your
All right,
thumbnail.
there.
It's all buggy and crazy and fleshy.
There it is.
There
But
it
we
is.
could do like Scotty does.
Oh, the heart. Oh.
Is the heart solid, or can you get the whole thing in there?
Almost. You get the idea.
I don't even know how the hell they do that stuff, man. I'm so not. Yeah, I wasn't doing. I was like, man, it looks like freaking Cabbage Patch.
I don't think that's a talent I want to.
No, yeah, like it's not a talent you want to admit to.
Do the rifle.
So
That's what you got.
yeah, the rifle. There it is.
You shot
handgun.
Shot
Boom.
that fish like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Let's take you back up.
Or we could do like the hand grenade. Okay, so we're back up
I
top.
took you up.
I'm still talking to the bottom
You're
camera. I'm like,
Your
yeah.
hand grenade.
Okay, anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a couple more guys up here tonight. Zach has got an old traditional. I think it's
John? Is he doing Copper John?
No, that's
Dana.
Dana. Dana's doing the Copper John. It's an olive Copper John. Really sweet pattern. And Zach is tying an old cutthroat pattern, I believe it is.
Oh, one of those fancy traditional ones.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but it's really awesome. So stay tuned, guys. And once again, I'd like to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart and from my family to your family. Merry Christmas and best luck in the New Year's. And be responsible. No drinking and driving out there, okay, guys? And make sure that you guys go down to the river, do a little fly fishing before she freezes up. And if the river's frozen up where you're at, then go and do some ice fishing. And I'm going to try my best to get back in here before the new year, but if I don't, we'll see you next year.